Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Respected Madam Yusrina Abu Bakar, Acting Chief Librarian, Al-Hikmah Library, IIUM. Respected panelists for today, Professor Dr. Ma'an Fahmi Rashid Al-Khatib from Kulliyyah of Engineering and Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha Kassim from International Institute for Halal Research and Training in HAL, academics and researchers, library top management, senior management, head of units, and colleagues from Darul Hikmah Library IIUM, officers within IIUM and without, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening. To gain barakah of our event, let us begin with the recitation of dua that will be led by Al-Fadil Ustaz Sofi Azran Muhammad Tamjiz. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Al-Fatihah. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammadin fil awwalina wal akhirin wa sallim wa radiyallahu tabaraka wa ta'ala an sadatina ashabi rasulillahi ajma'in. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Radina billahi rabban wa bil islami dinan wa bi muhammadin nabiyyan wa rasulah. Rabbana ighfir lana dhunubana wa liwalidina warhamhum kama rabbawna sighara wa li masyaikhina wa li jami'il mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma. Rabbana iftah bainana wa baina qaumina bil haqq wa anta khairul fatihin. Allahumma arinal haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arinal batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa baraka wa sallam. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minna wa minkum. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you to Al-Fadil Ustaz Sofi Azran for the recitation of dua just now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue our session with the welcoming speech from Madam Yusrina Abu Bakar, Acting Chief Librarian, Darul Hikmah Library. Please welcome, Madam.
Thank you, Sister Nurul Zahrah. Our respected panelists this evening, Prof. Dr. Ma'an Fahmi Rashid Al-Khatib, DeputyDean Kulliyyah of Engineering IIUM, Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha Kassim, DeputyDean InHAD IIUM, respected viewers, brothers and sisters, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very blessed evening, inshallah. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to the online talk on River of Life. Thank you for being with us today. This event is one of the initiatives from the Dar al-Hikmah Library in its collaboration with the team of IIUM River of Life project, which is one of the 2021 IIUM flagships. The library is organizing an exhibition and talk so that ideas and activities under this project could be shared and promoted to the IIUM community and also the public. The IIUM flagship projects are high-impact initiatives with a set of planned and continuous activities that aim to support the university to develop balanced graduates and balanced staff, values creation, sejahtera society, and institutional stability. People depend on rivers for their way of life and their livelihood, from fishing to agriculture, for fresh drinking water, for people's livelihood, and for nature. The way we manage our waterways has a direct impact on people's life. Unfortunately, they are still threatened. We must commit to recovering freshwater biodiversity, restoring natural river flows, and cleaning up polluted water for people and nature to thrive. We would like to express our appreciation to all the speakers for their willingness to spend some time with us today. We are very honored to have both of you with us today. Jazakumullahu khair. Hence, by listening to the speakers' ideas and their team's experiences, it is hoped that it will improve our awareness, responsibility, and love of the rivers around us, inshallah. Last but not least, I sincerely thank and acknowledge the program's committee members who have made this event a success. I would also like to welcome all of you, the viewers today, to the library physically to visit the exhibitions on the River of Life project and to benefit from it. With that note, I end my word of welcome with Jazakumullah khairan katsira. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you to Madam Yusrina for her welcoming speech. On behalf of Darul Hikmah Library, we wish to extend our warm welcome and thank you to our special guests and all participants to this online talk, River of Life, a flagship project under Kulliyyah of Engineering. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored today to have our invited panelists to share their initiative and activities done under River of Life project. And while listening to them, you are free to post question in the chat box, and inshallah, we will read the question during the Q&A session later. Okay, now it is my pleasure to introduce our first panelist for today, Professor Dr. Ma'an Fahmi Rashid Al-Khatib. Okay, Professor Dr. Ma'an Rashid, I'm sorry. Okay, Prof, how are you, Prof?
I'm good.
Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Salam. Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, so how are you today? How's your Shawwal?
Yeah, good. A lot of food around.
Yes, thank you so much, Prof, for your willingness to join us today. This is really a great project, I think, because as IIUM staff, we see river every day. So and also beside library, we have our river here. So we see river every day. Okay. So before we proceed, I will continue with the biodata of Prof. Ma'an. Okay, Prof. Dr. Ma'an is currently a Deputy Dean at the Academic and Industrial Linkage. He has been with International Islamic University Malaysia, IIUM, since 2007 and until now. Before joining the IIUM, he worked as an engineer for Water Equipment International, Amman Jordan, from 1995 to 1996, and as a senior researcher for Combicat R&D Center, University of Malaya, from 2005 to 2006. His area specialization is in biotechnology engineering, and he is also a chairman of the IIUM River of Life. He is active in research project and has gained recognition either locally or abroad. He also produced many articles in journals and is recognized as a journal index. Many of his publications are in depth in the IRAP repository. He also experienced professor in chemical engineering with a demonstrated history of working in the higher education industry. He also skilled in curriculum development for sustainable education and leadership, and also research in water and wastewater treatment using advanced material and biodegradation. He is not only active in the academic field, but also involved in social and community activities, where he is the chairman of the IIUM River of Life project, which is heavily involved in river sanitation project with students and the local community. For our information, Friends of Sungai Pusu River of Life under Kulliyyah of Engineering IIUM won the most participative flagship award, most popular for this year Takrim Day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Prof. Dr. Ma'an for his presentation.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you very much for Sister Nurul Zahrah, our lovely moderator for this afternoon. And I would like to express my very warm thanks to Dar al-Hikmah Library for their kind invitation to IIUM River of Life Flagship to share or to promote the flagship to the community, and also to share our activities with all the community in IIUM and whoever is attending this webinar online. And also I would like to congratulate Dar al-Hikmah Library for their very great initiative to invite all the flagship in IIUM for the exhibition and for this webinar. Well, when we talk about river, I think Mrs. Yusrina just now in her opening remarks, she mentioned rivers, and she highlighted the importance of rivers. I think if we look back into history, civilizations established along rivers, because rivers carry the most precious element on earth. Without it, we can't survive. We can have life, which is water. And across also the history, we've seen civilization going up and down because of water and because of rivers. And in IIUM, when we started the IIUM River of Life, it actually initiated from the same passion that we are looking into. When we look into our campus, we have one main river and two tributaries passing through the campus. And having this is actually a blessing for our campus. And we always would like, to remind ourselves that rivers existed here before we come. So the campus is kind of invaded the space of the rivers. And out of respect, we have to make sure that we take care of these rivers and ensure that they are flowing with life and with a good health. Probably, inshallah, we will share with you what are the conditions of our rivers so far. But before that, probably I will try to just give some introduction to the flagship. Hopefully, it will enlighten IIUM community more about the flagship and what we are doing. May I ask for the next slide, please? Maybe you can also put it on presentation mode so it will be clearer. Next slide, please.
Okay, sorry everyone, we have technical problem right now. Okay, so because the internet is lagging, so we cannot upload the slide. So we are sorry, and please wait a few minutes.
All right, maybe I can just
yeah, Prof. You can just yes, you can
I can
just
just proceed as you are preparing for the sharing of the slide.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Now, okay, I think now we can see the slide, Prof.
All right, okay, thank you.
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. So as I was mentioning earlier, working for river was kind of a passion, and also being involved in water and wastewater treatment. It has brought to my attention all these issues that we are facing with water scarcity. Probably in Malaysia, alhamdulillah, we don't have the issue of water scarcity, but I think we all have somehow experienced water rationing a few years back, and water cuts from time to time, and we could feel how how it goes when we don't have water for 1 or 2 days. For the flagship, actually, we started. I would say that caring for river in IIM is not something new. We cannot claim under IIM River of Life flagship that we are the first to start. There have been many people before us who has been very patiently working and organizing activities to make sure that we care for the river and the condition of the river. And the next slide, probably I can show that initially these activities have been ongoing. We participated in some of these activities, and in 2018 we kind of started the first IIM River of Life. We call it People Outreach Program, which was organized with some NGOs and some private sector companies who are involved with the program. And that program, we had almost 300 participants. And from there, we decided to come out with this River of Life group. And in 2019, it was recognized and declared as one of the university flagship projects. Next slides, please. Can I have the next slide? All right, while the slides are coming up, I would also like to share about the values that we adopt in our flagship. It's basically based on teamwork, empowerment, and recognition. Without teamwork, this project cannot happen, and because we have actually a lot of challenges. Probably I will share with you later on. And empowerment is important for the flagship members, because we have all these various areas that we can actually work on, and therefore we give the members in the flagship kind of empowerment for them to come up with their plans and activities to ensure that the flagship objectives are achieved. And at the same time, we also recognize all the contributions by all members and communities who participate with us in our activities. Next slide, please. Or maybe next 2 slides. All right, so what we can see on the screen here is our areas of action. Initially, we used to have 4, but now we make them into 3. We just combine some of them. And as you can see, one of the main areas we have is the community empowerment and edu-action. And we purposely call it community empowerment. Initially, we call it community engagement. But having organized many activities with communities within IIM and outside IIM, we realized that engagement is good, but we need to move towards empowerment, where the communities do not just wait for us to organize activities related to river, but they themselves will start to organize these activities. And of course, we will be glad to participate and join these activities. And again, we call it edu-action and not education, because we believe that education and knowledge should not stop to at that particular point of just gaining the knowledge, but to interpret and to translate this knowledge into action. And therefore, this I would say committee is the purpose of this committee is to ensure that any learning about river goes through action rather than just education. Probably we will see some of the activities that has been organized for this particular purpose. And the second area is the research and academia, where we river is a very lively entity, and from it we can learn a lot, and we can do a lot of research, not limited to science and engineering. Actually, a lot of research can be conducted on rivers from legal perspective, from a social science perspective, from economic and finance perspective. And we need to also educate the public about rivers, and therefore we can also come up with publications, we can come up with products which could serve the community at large, and also the academia as well. The third area is rehabilitation, and the purpose of having this committee is basically because we have issues with our river, as we will share with you later on. And so to speak, currently, because of the issues, our focus is there. However, hopefully when these issues are addressed and these challenges are taken care of, we are not sure how long it will take, but we need also to move forward towards improving the aesthetic and of the river, and to ensure that the ecosystem of the river is maintained. Next slide, please. So there was this group of warriors, river warriors, probably if I can call them, who started the River of Life and as founders, and it was mainly in Gombak campus in Kulliyyah of Engineering. However, it didn't take us long time before we start approaching other colleagues and from other Kulliyyah, not only from Gombak campus, but from all other campuses. So on the next slide, we can see that we have now River of Life in Gombak. We have also River of Life in Kuantan, and also River of Life in Pago chapter. That will be on the next slide. So now we have groups working on rivers in the three campuses. We are blessed again in IIUM because we have rivers that are either passing through the campuses, like in Gombak and Kuantan, or passing by the campus of Pago. So we are honestly, we are very blessed with that. So it's part of our responsibility towards our rivers to really ensure that we take care of them. Currently, our team, in the next slide, we can see the current, I would call them the leaders of the flagship. We have many members. I cannot recognize all of them now, but I mentioned by all their names. However, in the next slide, we can see the members. We have, of course, the Dean of Kulliyyah of Engineering is the advisor for the flagship, and we have Dr. Atiyah as the secretary. Dr. Zaleha is with us today. She is the PIC for Empowerment and Into Action. And we have Prof. Dr. Nazri from Kulliyyah of Medicine. He is our head of Kuantan chapter. And that's very interesting because his background is totally far from water, rivers. However, working for rivers doesn't have to be a specialization. It's actually more on passion. And I would like to acknowledge the Kuantan chapter for their very active participation and initiative, actually, and proactive. They are very proactive in organizing activities for river. And in Pago, we have also Dr. Yuliandi as the head of the Pago chapter. And we have also Brother R. Zihan from Kulliyyah of Engineering. He is the PIC for Rehabilitation, and Prof. Dr. Raisuddin, he is the PIC for Research and Academia. And under each of these committees, we have members actively participating in organizing related activities. After we established the IIUM River of Life, in the next slide, we can see that we thought that we cannot limit our activities to IIUM community. We wanted to move outside, and we announced the establishment of Friends of Sungai Pusu. In Malaysia, we have this Friends of Sungai or Friends of Rivers across the Klang Valley. We have many of these Friends of Rivers, and we have one umbrella that bring us all together. So with this Friends of Sungai Pusu, actually our aim and target was to include the neighboring communities to be part of this, I would call it society. However, due to the pandemic for the past 2 years, we couldn't approach the communities. Hopefully, inshallah, very soon we will be reaching them and inviting them to be part of our community, because as we know, Sungai Pusu is passing through Gombak campus and through Pusu community. So we are sharing the river. At the same time, we are sharing any burden on the river, as I will share later on. And even Kuantan campus, also the campus passes through, the river passes through the campus and going through the city, similar to Pagu as well. So I think communities need to be involved, actively working for the river. In the next slide, we see the networking, the various bodies that we have been working with. We work with local communities. Within IIUM also, other flagships. We've been working with Jungle School, with INSAF, and I'm really looking forward for more collaboration with other flagships in IIUM, because river is not limited, as I mentioned earlier, to science and to engineering. And river affects our environment, affects our economy, affects our society. Therefore, it is actually relevant to any flagship in IIUM. We've been working closely also with NGOs and private sector, and I hope, as I mentioned, that we will have more collaboration with other flagship. In the next slide, we can see how through the flagship also we contributed to teaching and learning. It has been inculcated in many courses, in engineering, in Kulliyyah of Law, in Qaid. So all these activities and courses has been actively involving River of Life as part of the teaching and learning. And even we have another project coming soon, inshallah, with UPM, the the Faculty of Environmental Science. In the next slide, we can see some highlights on this project, which is on sustaining Sungai Pusu ecosystem through river monitoring and environmental awareness project. The aim of this project is to spread awareness among IIM community and also Sungai Pusu community on river pollution, and that will be done through EduAction. So next slide, please. So through this project, there will be a few activities to monitor the river. We will do some tests and analysis of the quality of water, as well as some other analysis. Next, please. So the project is going to be a 5 years project, and we expect to start, inshallah, this year, where we'll have some students from UPM with some of our members here. We'll work together on collecting data and samples, trying to identify the ecosystem of the river. Next slide. What is important for us is to see contribution from everyone, and through the areas of action that I shared earlier, everyone can actually join and contribute. By the way, Dr. Zaleha herself is also she has her own flagship. yet she is also actively contributing to IIUM River of Life, and we trying to see how we can collaborate in between the various flagships to arrange activities together. So under community empowerment and action, everybody is welcome to organize gotong royong activities, like Sister Yusrina and Sister Nurul Zahrah mentioned earlier, that there is the library also is on the one of the rivers in IIUM. So the library can actually organize their own gotong royong to do some cleaning for the river. We have also many kulliyah and mahalla which are also residing near to the river. They can freely and actively organize their activities. Also, we can work together with the Friends of Sungai Pusu at the local communities, involve private sectors in related activities. In research and academia, we invite you all to participate in any research related to river. We can do research from social sciences, from legal perspective, from economic perspective. We can include the river in teaching and learning. I thank all the colleagues who send their students to us for their projects from various kulliyah actually. We even received from Kulliyyah of Languages students who were doing assignments on language using the river as an example or as a case study. We are also welcoming anyone who would like to work on webinars or forums or workshops. And for the rehabilitation is basically to assist and support the university management on how to handle the issues that we have with our river. So this is open actually to anyone who can come out with any idea or if they have the expertise to support us and support the university in this aspect. Next slide, please. So I will highlight on some of the activities by IIUM River of Life just for your information. So on the next slide, we can see some of the community empowerment education activities. We have had various activities like talks, webinars, we had river blogging, we have tree planting, and it has been happening at various locations. Some of them were organized in Pago campus. They have a competition for this children in the schools on rivers. Kuantan also is very actively working closely with the authorities in Kuantan, and we also had co-organized some activities with local societies and NGOs. Our flagship and our Friends of Sungai Pusu is actually a member of what we call it Friends of Klang River Basin. It's a bigger NGO, and we co-organize a lot of activities with them. And the next slide, we can see some of the contribution we had for research and academia. Currently, we had some talks which are related to water related topics, and also we had some sharing sessions with local authorities like Indah Water, and also we produced a guideline, I would call it, on public outreach program manual. This is for any society, any community would like to organize this POP programs, and this is co-organized with MyCDNet and some other NGOs. And we also organized our first conference this year in March. Alhamdulillah, it was successful. We had more than 150 participants in the conference, and the contribution was made by various scholars and people who are known in their field. On research, currently we are working on an auto gate, which we are planning to have it at the river section in front of Mar building. The teams are currently working on the concepts of the design. Hopefully it will be completed before the end of this year, and then we'll be able to move to the second phase to present it to the management, university management. And the purpose of this auto gate is actually to give some kind of aesthetic view to the river, because sometimes the water level is very low. So with this gate, we can actually raise the water level, and when there is heavy rains, the gate will be open, so the water will flow to prevent any flooding. So hopefully we will be able to see something soon on that. And Alhamdulillah, as mentioned also by the introduction, the flagship has won many awards, as we can see on the next slide. And most of these awards actually come from outside IIUM. Some of them came from the government of Selangor. Some of them came from other NGOs who organize certain competitions, and to recognize also the contribution of various societies. Now, I will try quickly to share with you on what is going on with our rivers in IIUM. And before that, I would like to request to share the video. We have a video, a short video, which can show us kind of quickly on what is going on. Thank you for sharing the video. I will try to go quickly on the next slides because of time constraint. If you don't mind, yeah. This shows, actually this is quite a bigger picture of showing our rivers, and you can see We are somewhere in this the darker spots, the brown darker spots, and definitely the rivers that we have in IIUM, they will join at Sungai Gombak, and then it will go to Klang River. Next, please. Next, I think I will go quickly on this. Next. All right, here we can see we have various, these are the three rivers, as we can see. On the left side, we have the main Sungai Pusu, and then we have another two tributaries on the river. And they all combine at gate 3, basically. Next, please. All right. This is a very interesting image I want to share with you. This is a satellite image of the Sungai Pusu Basin. This is taken in 2003. So I want you to just have a quick look at the changes as the slides are moving. Next slide, please. This is 2005. And then next one. As you can see now, the greener parts become less green, 2007. And next, 2014. And you can see how the greener parts are becoming lesser, 2017. Next, and then 2019. And we can see the you know, I would call it damage, you know, the massive damage happening. And I think when you see this picture is actually upstream. You know, if you go to Mahalla Maryam, it's beyond Mahalla Maryam. So all this sediment, all this sand, all the silt that we receive in our rivers is because of what is happening here. So all the brown color we see in the river is from this brown, the soil that is, due to the deforestation taking place and various activities. And I think looking at this picture will make us see clearly what is actually happening. If we go to the next slide, we can see that we have various ponds at IIUM which are supposed to serve as protection to the river from any of these sediments. However, unfortunately, due to the massive activities at the upstream, these ponds are now kind of exhausted and they are not able to cope with what is happening upstream. Eventually, the projects that are taking place in the upstream, they should have their own ponds to actually, which could protect us from all the sediments coming. I can't comment anything here, but if this is happening, we would have less of these sediments coming to us. If you go to the next slide, this is our campus. And next, I'm trying to go quite fast on this. So as you can see, this is what is happening upstream. This picture was taken quite recently. Next, please. The arrow here is indicating Mahalla Maryam Lake, which is supposed to be one of the main actually protection ponds to protect our river. However, as you can see in the picture, the next picture, please. We can see due to the sediments that has, fill up the pond. Now the pond looks like a football field rather than a pond with water. And next, please. And we can see just now we saw, I think, some kayaking activities had been taking place before. So we can see all these erosions taking place at the upstream, contributing more and more to our rivers. And we can see all these ponds now are actually exhausted. They are full of sand. And that's why the water coming into campus. In the next slide, we can see how the river looks like. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is why our river is like this. It's because of all these sediments that has been coming through. Next slide show we can see the floods that took place on our campus in 2014 and 17 because of our river also is exhausted. You know, the riverbank is full of sediments, therefore it's not able to carry the rain, the heavy rain that is we experience from time to time. Next, please. You can go next and next. You can see students even to the mahalla. Next. Yeah. So we have worked closely with development division and Diabetes to try to see what we can do, and we work together in trying to clean these ponds. So on the next slide, you can see some of the cleaning activities taking place to try to minimize the silts and sand. We managed to do something initially, but again, because of the pandemic, all these projects were put on hold, and currently the development division and the university management is looking into another contractor to continue the work of the cleaning, because if we manage to clean all these ponds, that will help us actually. We will be able to see cleaner rivers, but unfortunately now even our rivers now contains a lot of silt. If you walk by Azman Hashim building or Mar building, you can see sediments at all sides of the rivers, and cleaning this also will require other efforts to be done. I think I can stop here because the next pictures are just showing us the damages that are taking place on various ponds and river sections in IIUM. And this is an open invitation for everyone to join us. Please join us. Let's see what we can do. We've been talking to local authorities, to even local government to see to come together with us to help us and support us in cleaning this mess together, inshallah. With this, I think I will stop here, Sister Zahrah. Thank you very much. And, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof, for your informative and impactful sharing. I think many activities done in our river at IIUM, but I think some of us, especially me, do not know about this project, and I think so this sharing is really beneficial to us.
Definitely, and I thank you very much for organizing this, because it's really a good opportunity for us to be face to face with our community and share with them on these activities.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prof. And right now in our chat box, we see a few questions, and inshallah you can keep writing your question. At the end of the session, we will read and we'll pass the question to the respective panelists. Okay, thank you so much, Prof. We will meet again during the Q&A session later. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we will move to our next panelist for today. Okay, please welcome Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha Kassim. Assalamualaikum, Prof. How are you today? Can you hear me?
Waalaikumsalam. Yes. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. I'm okay.
Okay, I think it is not too late for me to wish Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri.
Same to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Prof, because for your information, Prof. Zaleha and Prof. Associate Dr. Zaleha is from IIUM Kuantan, and now today is public holiday at Kuantan, and so we are very grateful today. So because Prof is with us today, with us here, so thank you so much, Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we start, I will read briefly biodata of Dr. Zaleha. Okay, Associate Professor Dr. Zaleha Kassim is currently the Associate Professor and the Deputy Dean at the International Institute for Halal Research and Training in HAT. Prior to joining IIUM, she served as an Associate Professor in the Department of Marine Science, University Malaysia, Terengganu, from 30 June 2010 until 30 September 2014. Okay, after joining IIUM in 2004, she held several administrative posts. Previously, she was an associate professor at Kulliyyah of Science from 2004 to 2020 and as the deputy director at Kulliyyah of Science from 2015 to 2016. Then she was appointed as Deputy Dean from 2017 to 2018 and subsequently appointed as Coordinator in the Entrepreneurship Development from 1 April until 30 April 2019. She also served as the head of the International Halal Research and Training from May 2019 to July 2021. She is an active person and has extensive experience in her career as well as in social and community activities. And she also has gained much recognition nationally and internationally. She is one of the Malaysian in the Japanese Society for Promotion of Science, JSPS, collaborating in the zooplankton ecological research group with the other members from Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Japan. She is also a member of the Malayan Nature Society, Asian Fisheries Society, and Malaysian Society for Applied Biology. She won the Best Inventor for coffee pot culture using organic waste in the competition organized by WIPO, KIPO, and MyIPO in 2011. She also received an award of recognition from the Ministry of Education in 2012 for the commercialization effort of her research innovation, the coffee pot culture technique. She is now working on her new FRGS project on the ECDC's process in Asian horseshoe crab 2019 until now, 2022. Okay, Dr. Zaleha, without further ado, let us hear the extent of her experience and involvement in IIUM on River of Life project. Please welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction, Miss Moderator. I would like to say thank you and very grateful for inviting me to this talk. I don't expect to be here actually, but I'm glad I try my best to share with all of us here on the River of Life, especially on my title today is Community Engagement and Empowerment for River Sustainability. So firstly, thank you very much to this initiative by the library, and thank you very much also to Prof Maan for giving me the opportunity to represent River of Life to give this talk. I would like also to acknowledge the permission given by my professor, my Dean of InHat. So while Prof Maan talk more on the inside of the River of Life flagship project, I would like to extend a little bit beyond it, especially how to reach our community, how do we engage with them, and how to empower them. It is not easy. We can say anything about it. In theory, it can be done, but in practical, it will take a longer time to establish. So, firstly, let us refresh our understanding about river. River is also a makhluk like us. River has its creator, same like us. And so river is a living thing. They are living. So when we talk river of life, we are talking about what river can give us. But at the same time, we need to also consider what can we give to the river. Because both of us, the river and ourselves, we exist together. We need to acknowledge this coexistence. So we use river, we take benefit from the river, but at the same time, we need to have a responsibility to maintain the river. Okay, my talk will be more on the knowledge on the river environment, on the condition of river nowadays, and I think to enrich our understanding about the living part of the river. And also later I will talk about how do we go about in terms of community engagement and empowerment. Okay, so next slide. So when we talk about river, we need to know about the natural environment of river. And river, it is not just a channel with water flowing in it. It is actually river has its physical, chemical, and also biological environment. Next slide. So river is more than just a flowing of water. Here, this example, I took this picture from a nice picture from the mountain of Himalaya. The first flowing part of the river, uh, and it is normally shallow, and you can see the clear water, and of course it is a freshwater condition. So this is one of the good example of a river environment. Okay, this is normally at the upper stream. We don't know if we can have a condition like this in most of our rivers in Malaysia. Okay, next slide. When the river go to the lowland, when they're flowing into the lower part of the area, we can see rivers now become branches of streams, and normally they will be slow moving. And while they move slowly, uh, actually it is because of many reasons. One of it is because the gradient, the topography, and also maybe because of the increase in the number of particulate matters in the river. And also, at the lowland area, they have silt and siltation, mud, clay become more in the water. And in this area, possibly the river has a uh, low in the oxygen content if compared to the fast flowing river just now. And normally it's still a freshwater condition. But if you look at this example, just now, the river has a very little number of big trees. Later I will discuss more on that. And then the river will flow to the end. Where is the end of the river? It is when the river meet the ocean or the sea. So this is where we call it estuaries. In this area, river will meet the sea, and the condition in this estuary normally is far different from what we have just now, because here the river will receive both fresh water and seawater. And then there will be, they will experience tidal cycle, low tide, high tide. So during high tide, the seawater will enter the river area, and during low tide, the seawater will go back to the sea. So the changes of this tidal cycle will change also the oxygen level in the water, also the salinity or the saline condition in the water, and also if you have pollution, then it will also affect the area. Next slide. So, okay. We have the physical, chemical, and the biological environment of the river, and the river flow from the higher place down to the river mouth, meeting the sea. What do we have other than the flowing of water and the channel? Actually, we have flora and fauna. That is what we call it is very important to conserve the biodiversity, to conserve the river flora and fauna. Okay, let's see what will be the river flora and fauna and how do they interact and they give us benefit. Okay, next slide. All right. The most important part of the living things in the river to make the river alive is the vegetation, the plants. Okay, and this is what we call a riparian zone. We need to maintain the riparian zone of rivers. This is where we are a little bit lacking or not so concerned, because normally we will try to build a structure, hard structure, bricks at the river bank. So you eliminate the river vegetation and the riparian zone. This will, increase the possibility of erosion and also flood. So if you look at in this diagram, there are different type of plants or vegetation that should be maintained in the river. Okay, one is the bottom vegetation, the vegetation that grow on the river bottom. Don't be surprised, because even though under the water, we still can have vegetation. And also, of course, we can see it is common to see floating vegetation. Okay, and then at the river bank, we can see different kind of vegetation from the floating mat, maybe like mosses, and also emergent vegetation, riparian bushes, and also riparian trees. Riparian trees have very significant contribution to maintain the river bank and to avoid erosion and also flood. It is actually a buffer zone. Why do we have so many flood incident recently? You can go back and look at the river and what they do look like. They have this kind of different kind of plants or not? Okay, next slide. And we need to be aware. This is a kind of sharing about the riparian zone. Normally we don't care much about this. Healthy riparian zone, unhealthy riparian zone. Riparian zone, again, zone where the river bank with the vegetation. We need to maintain as much as we can this riparian zone. So we cannot simply, cut down trees, change the natural environment, because you can see, and with this unhealthy riparian zone, the river bank is exposed to it can easily experience erosion. So it will, trigger flood. Okay, next slide. All right. So apart from having plants, vegetation, once you have vegetation, you actually inviting animals or fauna to be in there. So we have actually many kind of river fauna. So it is not only fishes. It started from a very small, minute organism we cannot see with our naked eyes. These organisms, normally we call them as myobenthos and also plankton. They are food for small shrimp, small fish, and also other small invertebrates. And you can also, at times, you maybe come across this otter. So many people, they don't like this otter, or we call it memerang, because they will, take your fish, just disturb the environment. But otter is part of the food web in the river, other than fishes. Of course, we all like to have many fishes in the river, but we also need to maintain other organisms because it will maintain the food web. Okay, next slide. If we look at this diagram, it is by Venot et al. In 1980, river continuum. We can see here in a flow of stream, the bigger the flow, the bigger the size of the stream, you can see higher number of organisms in the stream, and meaning to say it will increase biodiversity, and they are all interact with each other because the vegetation will, the leaf litters will become detritus. These detritus or the dead leaves, dead branches fall into the river. It will be decomposed and it become diet for small organism, and this small organism become feed for bigger organism, and then the bigger organism will be eaten by another bigger organism. So that is the food web in the river. So we need to maintain the trees, the vegetation, the water flow, and it will maintain the organism, the fauna especially. Okay, next slide. So who will benefit from that? Of course, we human. Human will benefit with from this flora and fauna interaction, because flora and fauna interaction in the river create a complex food web, and it can support local population whoever take sources or advantage from the river. So kind the river, right? Okay, next slide. Okay, what we can say is rivers constitute a socio-economical, ecological system which are driven by what? By the abiotic physical processes, the river flow, the changes in the flowing rate, and then biotic ecosystem processes, the interaction between the animal, the flora and the fauna, the interaction between the biotic and abiotic processes, where we can have different kind of food web. On the river floor, you will have microbial food web. In the water column, another food web, and on the surface will be another food web. At the riverbank, also another food web. It's very complex. And then another aspect is the governance structures and management system, if we are talking about how to make river become sustainable. Okay, next slide. All right. Those are some knowledge that I want to share with all of us here. Having with now we refresh our mind with those knowledge. Let's see what are the fates of our river right now. Is it very promising? Is it in good condition? Okay. It is the same. If you look at if you remember what Praman presented just now about the river in the main campus, it keep on changing from good to bad, bad to good, and maybe bad again. So what will be the fate for the next 2-3 years? Okay, let's see next. Next slide. Okay, this is our big problem. Pollution threats. Threats from pollution, from pollutant. So while we are going into in the industrialization, we talk so much about industrialization. We want everything ready. We want everything be at industrial level. So this is the next thing that we need to be aware. Okay. anything you produce from the industry, from the factories, normally will go into the water. Okay, and the water, the drain and so on, will go into the river, and this pollution will go to the next area, which is the river mouth, and then enter the sea. So it seems like river become the communicator from the pollution source to the to other area and to the sea. All right. So, okay. So next slide. And our main problem right now is about plastic pollution. We talk so much. You can you can serve many website about marine plastic pollution, but it is all comes from the river. So river as source of global marine plastic pollution. Okay, and this is the report done in 2017. So now river become the communicator, okay, the messenger for pollution of the ocean. Okay, next slide. And this is another explanation about the pathway by which plastic enters the world's ocean. So we buy something from the shop, from any shop. We normally been given the plastic bag to keep our whatever we buy. And this plastic later will be thrown away. Sometimes we are not aware. Sometimes we are aware. Good if we can try to reuse the plastic. But you can see here in this diagram, whoever or most of us stay between 50 kilometers to the coastline. We are actually contributing plastic pollution to the ocean. And these are normally done through the river, the flowing of the river. Okay, next slide. And don't be surprised. Look at here. Top 10 rivers contributing to global plastic problem in ocean. One of it is Klang River, which is from Malaysia. So just now Proman mentioned about the Pusu River will be connected to Gombak River and later to Klang River. So if we don't take any action about plastic flowing in Pusu River, this plastic will end to Klang River and then to the Strait of Malacca. Next slide. Okay. So much about the issue outside or beyond IIUM. Of course, you don't see plastic floating on the river in IIUM, right? That's very good, and I think that is because the contribution. This is where we can see the contribution of having this IIUM River of Life flagship. This flagship actually it is our part or our duty. It is our amal jariah to make sure that our river or the river pass through our campus do not become the contributor to the plastic pollution in the Strait of Malacca. So there are many activities have been mentioned by Prof. Aman. I don't have to repeat again. Okay, next slide. The most interesting part is community engagement. Okay, we want to maintain the spirit to take care of our river. But sometimes our river in the main campus or in other campus as well, uh, the river sometimes in good condition, sometimes in bad condition. That is simply because the river is not alone, because the river in the campus is connecting to other part of the river outside our campus. So what can we do? So of course, the strategy will be, we need to have community engagement. So far, we have a lot of community engagement with IIUM community. And it is not so difficult because everybody is well aware on what to do and what should be done and what will be the benefit of doing that. Okay, next slide. But okay, uh, it is not enough to get our people to do this community work or community engagement. It is not enough. We need to extend our communication with the outside. So we need to know who are the stakeholders of the river that flowing through our campus. So here I can see River of Life. They actually they have many initiatives to go out to outside. They have program with Menteri Besar Selangor, and also with industry, and also do some examination or survey or talk to the industry operating sand mining activities up there. uh, okay, because we need to reach the stakeholders. There are many type of stakeholders. Next slide. And if you can see here, by as proposed by all et al 2007, there are many different category of stakeholders, and we need to reach them all. They are maybe they are from the agencies or institution, or maybe they are from the industry, or maybe they are from NGO, or they may be just an individual, but we need to reach all. Okay, next slide. Why do we need them all? We need to reach all for many reasons, and of course, we want their participation. It is not we won't succeed if only we depends on IIUM community. We need to have others to participate, and we need to determine what kind of participation and the participant level of commitment, how committed they are with our program. Okay, it will depends on how do we communicate with them. If we communicate just to give some knowledge, the commitment will be low. But if we go up to giving them or delegate a task to them to and collaborate with them and delegate tasks to them to work together, the commitment will be more. So this strategy need to be planned carefully, and we need to identify who who can we reach with this strategy. After all, what we want to have is active participation, very active participation. Okay, maybe you will be agree with me. Some even in IIUM community, some only participate just to fulfill the requirement of KPI, having CSR activity. Some, but I believe most of us in IIUM, in our River of Life group, we participate and committed to this initiative because we know the reason why it is a amal jariah, and this is what we want to have, and for the future of our IIUM community as well. So active participation is very important, and it will need public you know public information as well as public I cannot see. All right. So that three figures, that three circles, it will give you important aspect of how do we make people participate and commit in our community engagement. Okay, next slide. All right. And because, you know why? Because when we can have people around us participate, we can observe their social behavior and we can observe their perception, and later we can improve the behavior into positive behavior and positive perception. By having that, they will improve their commitment. This I've been testing this in my other knowledge transfer program. Uh, Actually, it is not easy to talk to community and to make them understand and to make them participate and also to make them committed. It's not easy. 1 year is not enough, to tell you the truth, but we must start somewhere. Okay, next slide. So if we can have this knowledge transfer, then we can have empowerment. Without knowledge transfer, you cannot empower people. Okay, next slide. Okay, how? The first step is talk to them. Don't just talk with IIUM community, but we need to talk to people outside IIUM. People who live along the Pusu River. People who do business, small businesses along the Pusu River. All those warung and so on, because they are the one that generate anything to be entering the river. Okay, next slide. We talk to them. What does it mean, talking to them? It is actually we need to listen to them. We need to feel. We need to put ourselves in their shoes. Okay, I have another 3 minutes left. Okay, thank you. And of course, since we want our mission to be accomplished, to be successful, we need to have this quadruple helix approach. Meaning to say, it is not only you talking to the community. We need to get technical agency, government agency to involve. We need to get society outside to be involved. We need to have industry to support us. That's what we call quadruple helix approach to have our engagement successful. Next slide. This is what been done in IIUM River of Life. We are moving forwards with many new initiatives, as what Prof. mentioned just now. Next slide. So the last slide, community engagement and empowerment is needed to save our river. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Zaleha, for your presentation. It is very informative and interesting sharing. So I can see that this presentation is like eye-opening to us regarding river flora and fauna. And one more thing, what shocked me is that the fact that Klang River placed second place for global plastic pollution, and Sungai Pusu River is connected to Klang River. So right now it's made me thinking what is the fate of the river for next 2 or 3 years. So thank you, Doctor. So I think this kind of session is really great to increase our awareness about river. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we have moved to the last session, that is question and answer session. So you can write your question in the chat box and which speaker you intended to ask, and inshallah I will pass to the respective panelists to answer your questions. Okay, so we see a few questions here. Okay, so this is from My Way. Can you study Sungai Muar? So I think I will pass this question to our chairman, Prof. Ma'an. So Prof, can
Thank,
your team study Sungai Muar also?
thank you. Can you hear me?
Can you study Sungai Muar?
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for sure. Actually, we have a team of experts on IIUM River of Life from our Kulliyyah of Engineering. Or let me start by saying it depends what we want to study. If we want to study water quality, the hydrology, then of course we have experts with us from Kulliyyah of Engineering, Kulliyyah of Science, and Kuantan. And we even have also some of the members are from Kulliyyah of Law if they want to look into legal issues. And from KAID also, we also have some members from Kulliyyah of Economics. So it depends on what kind of study that is intended. But alhamdulillah, I think we have the expertise from various areas that can contribute to the study based on what is needed.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. And our next question is from Nur Azian Binti Abu Bakar. How can we educate our community about river conservation? So I think this question is for Dr. Zaleha. Okay, please, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the question. How can we educate our community about river conservation? Of course, we need to start from very young age. If we want to be sustainable in this, knowledge on river conservation, we need to start from a very young age. So you can go to kindergarten, work with them, and just it can be started by showing the children with flora and fauna living in the river. I used to do this with our primary school here in Balok. So even though they live, their school is next to the river, they they cannot recognize what is mangrove, what is what is cockles and oyster. They don't know. So it is we need to have our effort to bring the river to them. Right now, it is not easy for you to bring students to river, to water, especially children. Okay, so you can have a kind of modules that you have different pictures or different samples. You bring samples to kindergarten or to primary school. You talk to the teachers on how to create awareness about what are the living things we can find in the river. From there, uh, the awareness will develop knowledge to them, and then they will know, oh, we need to protect river, oh, we cannot kill this, oh, we cannot simply step on this area, or we cannot simply cut down these trees. They will know. It will take time. So the strategy is we need to talk to them. Talk is the first first step, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zaleha. And if I can, I ask one more thing regarding this question. Is there any promotion in media social or television networking, so radio? So maybe Dr. Zaleha or Prof, you can respond this, because I think that's also one way to educate people. Yes.
if I
Maybe?
can respond
Yes.
to that. Okay. Actually, if you look at RTM, they have many programs on conservation, on nature, actually. So, for example, I involved in Simponi Alam, a few series of Simponi Alam. I involved since 2006. Almost every year, they will call me to, to shoot something on anything. Recently, they asked me to follow them to Tioman Island to find mountain frogs. So I told them, oh, okay, I'm already old. But, it, actually, we have a lot of program. So maybe this our children, or I mean our young generation, they seldom, they seldom actually watch TV. They watch Netflix and so on.
Yes.
So it's not easy. So this is where we educators, library, need to bring these things to them. It's already there. You can contact RTM and get some information on this, and you can, pass to school, ask school to come to library, and to see this, or to maybe you can add with having lecturers who are, a little bit, they can have samples and so on. You can have an exhibition in the library, and you have the TV, the information from RTM. You can join this together and have fun with the children. That's
Okay,
my
thank you so
suggestion.
much, Dr. Zaleha. I think after this, we can try, maybe our team can try to contact RTM, okay, to get that video, to give,
Yes.
yes, to give education to our library user. Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Okay, okay, next question is from Nurul Amira. How can we save and protect our river? Okay, maybe please, Prof.
Okay, thank you for the question. It's actually there are many things that can be done at different levels. Like Prof. Zaleha mentioned just now, awareness is one thing. So if we want to look at the issues that we have with river, there are issues related to attitude and behavior. Throwing plastic, using plastic. We have done cleaning at Kambukirdas, Gombak. Almost every 40 days, because they have what you call it river boom, and this river boom is meant to divert any solid in the river to a certain point, and it can be collected. Every 40 days, if you go to that spot, you will find rubbish in the river. We found PT Sujo, refrigerators. We found sofas. People are throwing up to these items. We have to understand that throwing a plastic next to the rubbish bin might end up with this plastic bottle into the river, because when we have rain will carry all this dirt to the drain, and the drain eventually will go to the river. So one way is to look at our practices, improve our practices, and keep talking about it, bring awareness to it. Alhamdulillah, the university now, we have this course on sustainable development. We are enlightening the students about the importance of all these issues, because it starts from the basic, from every individual actually can contribute to saving the river and protecting the river. And then we can go up one level to another. Depends on the issues. If we have serious issues, pollution from industry, pollution from other resources, then we can look at it from technical and engineering and science perspective. So there are many ways actually we can work on it, but awareness is the starting point. We have to keep talking about it, reminding the various generation. And you mentioned about social media. There are a lot of competition on social media. If I now stand up in my office and dance and record it onto TikTok, I might be able to get more likes, than the likes we get when we post something about rivers, right? This is a challenge that we have to admit that we are facing, and we have to work very hard to at least make especially the young generation interested in this matter as much as they are interested in other matters.
Okay,
If
thank you so much, Prof.
if I may add one thing.
Okay, please, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. I think another aspect is what we call political will.
Hmm.
Because it give a very big impact. If there is a political will to protect our river, to save our river, it will be a great impact to our rivers. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Zaleha, Prof. I think it's really important because right now Klang River is number 2, so we want to change the number. Okay, we do not want to be in top 10. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so next question is, should we teach in school about river conservation? Okay, so maybe Dr. Zaleha, should we
Of
add one
course.
more subject? Yes.
Yeah. No, you don't have to add more subject because they have environment subject inside
Mm.
science. It is better to have to blend it into the existing subject. It is easier. So first thing is we need to make sure that our teachers aware.
Yes.
That's the first step. So we don't have to have separate subject, but it just blend it into science subject. It's already there actually.
If may I add, I think besides what Prof. Zaleha mentioned just now, we need to bring the subject to practical rather than just theoretical. Like what we are doing in IIM now, we are teaching sustainable development, but then after that, we teach, we have courses also in action, which is basically to bring what we share with the students, the knowledge shared in sustainable development UNGS course 1201. We bring it into action. They have to take all this knowledge and see how they can implement the knowledge. And I think learning with doing, especially for school children, is more interesting and exciting than just listening to talks and lectures or even in classes. And there are various activities that we also have organized in schools where the students will use kits to test water, to learn about the pH of the water, the turbidity of the water. And then that makes them more interested when they feel, what we call it experiential learning rather than just theoretical learning. So we need to go by different ways so that we can approach students. And I agree with Prof. Zaleha that teachers also must be educated, not just about the theoretical knowledge, but also how to make it more practical knowledge. And there are many teachers actually around here which are already advanced in this, and they already have their own initiative and they are very active with us in activities related to river, climate change, and so on.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Doctor. Well, I can say that like in bahasa Malaysia, there is melentur buluh biarlah dari rebungnya. Is that right, Dr. Zaleha?
Yes, betul tu.
Okay, so next question is how to join the River of Life program? Is it open to all or are there certain conditions? Okay, so Prof?
The only condition is that you should be willing to give your time and give your effort. That's the only condition. It's open to everyone. We are actually, alhamdulillah, now we have our members from across IIUM. If I'm talking about IIUM's community, we even have students with us. We have professors, assistant professors, administrators, all sorts of communities. So we don't meet. When we meet, we are not looking at each other as academic or an academic. We are all members of our River of Life. it goes to the field, we all go down, we get wet, we get dirty, and in order to ensure that the river is clean. So there is we welcome everyone actually, and we invite everyone to join us. I would even say that you don't have to wait for us. Like the library, if you have your own, you already have that section next to you, you can do whatever activity about river. You can invite us. We will come in. We will share our knowledge and whatever expertise if you need. So it is actually open. Anybody can start and the activity. That's why we are actually aiming not just to engage, but we also to empower. So anybody in the community that they can start any activity on river. We are very pleased to have that.
Okay, thank you, Prof. So how, if they are interested, so if there is certain call number or website, we can contact on that River of Life
Yes.
Committee on?
We have our own email. Our own email is
Okay.
riveroflife@iium.edu.my.
IIUM.edu.
So I can share it on the YouTube channel. So this is our
Okay.
email, and we have website, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. So you can just look for River of Life. You can find us there.
Okay, so everyone, please right now like, subscribe, okay, to River of Life, Instagram, Facebook, okay, to get the latest information. Okay, this is from Madam Irni. Okay, I really appreciate the effort that have been done to save river in IIUM. Okay, to Sir or Madam, is the land clearing activities at IIUM surrounding still active, especially during the endemic period now? Okay, so this, I Gombak, maybe Prof, you can answer it?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Sister Ernie. What we are doing is still not enough compared to what is happening. But inshallah, with the support from everyone, we will be able to push things to happen. I'm not sure that I can say this, but after all the efforts that has been put by all the everyone, not only IIUM River of Life, Development Division is there, even our university management, led by director, our respected Tansri. We managed to get some support from the Ministry of Higher Education with quite a good lump sum of money, which will be dedicated to clean the river. So the process is ongoing to recruit a contractor to do the cleaning. Of course, we don't expect things to happen in 1 or 2 months' time. It will take some time for the cleaning to take place. The endemic, during the pandemic, things have stopped. But unfortunately, because the damage is there, our river became worse, because when there was rain during the past 2 years of the pandemic, it brought more silt, and we couldn't do any cleaning at that time. We have to stop. I believe that now things has come back, and activities is now has continued. Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prof, and thank you to Madam Irni for the question. Okay, next question. Okay, so I think that the last question. Okay, we have that one from YouTube from Sister Junaida. Okay, she said that before this, okay, IIUM is really beautiful. Okay, the river, the waterfall. Okay, but right now, because maybe the logging activities, so the structure of the river, the color of our river is now changing. Yeah. So maybe we can see at the video that Prof present. We have that before and after. So that's how the changing of our environment. Okay, so if we are not increase our awareness regarding this matter, so we don't know what will happen 2 or 3 years later. Okay, so this is from Muhammad Fairulazi. Okay, agreed. Okay, he agreed, and I observed There are videos from IIUM staff published in RTM programs, but no soft copy given. Good if the library can help to get all the video and share in IIUM website for visibility. Okay, inshallah. Inshallah, I think, yeah, after this we can get this video. Okay, we inshallah we'll contact this one. So cooperate with IIM River Life Committee. So this one is for Sister Junaida also. Akibat dari projek perumahan di sekitar IIUM, aliran sungai semakin teruk. So yeah, this is what our environment, okay, housing development. So that's why our river and Sungai Pusu River, okay, the color become like teh tarik right now. Okay. So
Pekat,
insyaAllah, yeah.
very pekat teh tarik.
Yeah, teh tarik.
Pekat, not only teh tarik, pekat, you know, very thick.
Very thick.
Yes, mashallah. So because we see the river every day, okay, we go to the center and we see the river every day, but the color somehow it's not very attractive, okay? Like we hope that inshallah one day, okay, the color of our river will become more and more crystal clear, okay? Okay, so I think that's all for Q&A session. Okay, and thank you to our participant for their cooperation in this Q&A session, and thank you so much to Prof. Ma'an and Dr. Zaleha for your great explanation and presentation. What I can say for me myself, and maybe for some of us who are not directly involved in this project, okay, so before this we know nothing about our river. About this project, even though we see that river every day when we go to the center, but we do not know there is a project or activities regarding the river. So alhamdulillah, through this session we actually know a lot of things, a lot of activities has been done. MashaAllah, it's really great. So thank you so much. And to our viewer who are really interested in this project, please volunteer yourself, okay? Please visit your Facebook, Instagram, okay, to get the information. Okay, insyaAllah, who knows, one day, okay, that color, teh tarik color will change from that chocolate, okay, chocolate color to the clear crystal color, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah, amin.
InsyaAllah, amin. Okay, and for your information, I think this is not enough discussion and presentation. So please come to the library and visit the exhibition of the River of Life project at level 2. Okay, so please spread this news to your friend. Okay, at Mahalla, outside your. Okay, come at the library at level 2. Okay, so inshallah we have a lot of videos and explanation regarding this project.
Until when, Sister Zahrah?
Until when? Inshallah. End of May. Okay, so okay, until end of May. So we have one week plus, okay, 1 or 2 weeks. So let's go, come to the library, okay, and get knowledge about this project. I think because this is really important project. Okay, we want to increase our awareness, our love regarding river, because if we do not know about that river, okay, we do not have any knowledge, so how can we love our river, right? Okay. Tak kenal maka tak cinta. That's in Malay.
Betul.
Yes. Oh, betul tu. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, bro. Okay. So I think that's wrap up our session for today. Inshallah, we hope that all the information shared by our great speakers today will improve our level of awareness and love to take care of our river. Okay, so on behalf of Darul Hikmah Library, we wish to thank you all for making time for this sharing session of IIUM Flagship Project, River of Life. And for your information, this online talk will be uploaded in our YouTube channel. Okay, in our YouTube channel. So please subscribe, okay, and click the notification bell so that you will not miss out, okay, any interesting event or content uploaded here. And for IIUM staff, do not forget to fill in your attendance and evaluation form at the chat box, inshallah, for CTD point. Okay, so I think that's all. Once again, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our respected panelists and for all participants for your presence. Okay, we also like to apologize for any shortcomings and inconveniences. Inshallah, hope to meet you again in our next session and our next project. Okay, wish you all pleasant day and stay safe wherever you are. Okay, let's end our session today with recitation of Tasbih Kafarah and Suratul As. With that, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.